people talk. We all get in the right mind space. We all have it, right? We all wake up. We want to be better. We want to do better. But then what do? We don't take that step.
I'm Julian.
Julian, Bob Johnson.
Pleasure.
Pleasure's
Nice to meet
mine.
you.
Very nice
Awesome.
to meet you.
Yeah, seeing your picture everywhere. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is our spot.
Yeah, awesome.
Bob,
Hello.
how are you?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's
Doing wonderful.
okay.
How are you?
Do you know Marianne?
Yeah, Bob Johnson.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to know you. Right there, the guy in the blue, Zig Ziglar's son.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
I'm Allison Gaddy. I'm the president of Don Hobbs Coaching and Mega Agent Secrets Network, and we want to start out by thanking our sponsors, Bob and Jennifer Johnson, and Jameson Olson with All My Sons Moving. He's not here yet.
She's
here.
Allison.
Oh, there she is. Awesome. Well, come on up here. Sorry about that.
Change that logo.
Yeah, it's funny. All my life, I take a lot of joy in making people feel uncomfortable. When I've been emailing and stuff, people assume I am a man, and then when I walk into our meetings, they're like, "Oh, you're a girl," and these are grown men that are like, "Oh, you're a girl."
All right, so the guest speakers for today are absolutely incredible. I mean, each and every one of them. The room is just going to be completely full today, and I will give you a little overview. We're going to start out with Julian. He's a certified NLP trader. He's going to talk about emotions that make your business amazing.
But his topic is always somewhere in the realm of changing our minds and rewiring our brains. I want to get him up right away. You start taking notes immediately. Julian Sado, get up here.
Thank you very much. So I do live in Dallas, and that's why I'm here. So thank you guys. I have this.
Okay, perfect.
So awesome. All right, so real quick, because I only have 3 hours. So you guys with me? I want everybody to stand up real quick. Just stand up, and I want you to face somebody next to you. Just face somebody. Now I want you to change something on your body. Change something, but keep it clean. Don't tell them what it is, though. And when you're ready, both of you turn around and see if you can figure out what changed. Okay? Have a seat real quick. Right, have a seat. How many of you guys figured out what changed? Anybody figure out what changed? Who didn't figure out what changed? You're not very observant. Okay. All right. So you're not an inspector. Okay, so real quick. How many of you guys put what you changed back to where it originally started? And that's the point. Because we don't like change. Subconsciously, we always go back to what's natural and repetitive for us. And even though change might be good for us, we tend to always go back to what's not good for us if it's comfortable. Would you agree?
Yep.
Put your hand up for me like this. Now, what did I just ask her to do? And what is she doing to me right now? She's pushing me. Why are you pushing me? Exactly. We mirror what we feel. I felt pushed, so I'm going to push back. And that's the problem with all of you, including me. If you think about it, how many of you guys have been in this business for over 5 years? 10 years? 3 years? 1 year? All of you should be asking yourself, why am I not where I want to go and be yet? Because you're responding and reacting without thinking about it. I promise you, that's what you're doing. And the only way to not do it is to learn your subconscious. And that's what I teach. So this person said, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. And that's exactly true. So you got to ask yourself, how am I? Did I become a realtor because I didn't want to work for somebody, but now I found myself working 7 days a week, not 5? Did I become a realtor because I wanted to be my own boss, but yet I have people tell me, you better get this done for me now or I'm going to fire you? Right? We have to ask ourselves, what's going on subconsciously? We want to work on ourselves consciously. That's why he showed up. But a coach will challenge you to work on yourself subconsciously. But here's the thing. Have you guys played this game, the word game, where you do this with your fingers? You guys done this? Yes. All right, so everybody listen to me. I want you guys to pay attention to me. I want you to put your hands like this. Hold your fingers like this. I want you on a count of 3. You're just going to listen to my voice. And as you listen to my voice, I want you to do me a favor. As soon as I say 3, I want you to look at your fingers and just listen to my voice. So you guys okay with that? Okay, so your hands need to be like this, clasped. Listen to my voice and do this, okay? 1, you're going to be looking at your fingers, though, not me. Okay. 2, 3. Okay, your fingers getting closer and closer together because there's a rubber band pushing them closer to closer. I want you to imagine a magnet bringing them closer and closer together because with that magnet, it's making them want to touch. It's getting closer and closer, and you don't know why, but they're getting stronger and stronger. Okay, now loosen up. Go ahead and reach your fingers. Do this. Getting closer, and you don't know why, but they're getting stronger and stronger. Okay, now loosen up. Go ahead and reach your fingers. Do this. Let's hypnotize you. Now, earlier, right when I first got up here, you guys were barking like a chicken, but you don't remember that. You have it on video, but that's a form of hypnosis because what happens is words do affect you physically. So what I did was a finger, it's not my exercise, it's through hypnosis school. You go through it, they do it all the time. You can do it with your arms, you'll have one arm go up, one arm go down, those kind of things. But words like this, imagine all these different words here. When you use them, they create pictures in your brain. Those pictures in your brain create an emotion, and those emotions create an outcome. And I'm going to show you how that works in a real quick science. If you guys want to call me and talk to me, I can show you how to use these words when you're talking to your customers that makes them feel good about working with you. Because what happens is when they work with you, there is a stress level involved. But then you say, come see me again. But they associate that stress with you. And the goal is to make them associate positive with you.
There you go.
Well, this is the legend. He doesn't even need to talk, right? Tom ZIGLAR. I don't need to say anymore. You're going to hear from Tom ZIGLAR, so that's awesome.
So where's Julian? Did he step out? So Julian, you were amazing. Yes.
Can we videotape that part?
Yeah. Julian is amazing. Just came out with a book. The book is called Choose to Win. And so I got excited when he said the choices we make determine just about everything. The subtitle of the book is You Can Transform Your Life One Simple Choice at a Time. So I have fun when I speak. I like sharing the philosophy. And this is probably the most famous Zig Ziglar quote. You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want. That's the business we're in. And I have a personal mission. How many of you have a personal mission statement? Anybody here written down a personal mission statement? I tell you what, when you do that, it gives you clarity on your why. My personal mission is very simple. To create the atmosphere that allows you to become the person God created you to become. So why do I use the word atmosphere? I use the word atmosphere because there's something wrong with the culture. And culture seems to be based on a place, right? It's like, man, we've got a great culture at work. Well, how do you take that on an airplane with you? How do you take that out into the world with you? If you work from home, how does that culture find you? But atmosphere is a choice. We can create the atmosphere wherever we go. So atmosphere is bigger than culture. It is spiritual. It's a choice. It's a decision. It's something we can create. It's something we have to cultivate. And so here's the big idea. Here's the mindset idea that I've been working on for about 2 weeks. What if your mindset was the highest standard and the deepest grace? What if that was your mindset? And I want to paint a picture, a couple of pictures. I want to paint a professional picture, and I want to paint a personal picture. So here's the professional picture. How many of you are building a business, building a team? If that's part of your vision for your life, how many of you are in that? You're building your business, you're building your team. Okay, so imagine this. This is the world today. Tell me if this is pretty accurate. In the world today, there are no standards and there is no grace. Does it feel like that right now? No. Like anything goes? Like anybody can have any standard they want, right? And there is no grace because if your standard's different than mine, I hate you. Or even worse, you hate me, right? Because our standards aren't the same. So I want you to have the highest standard up here, and I want you to have the deepest grace down here in your mind. And in the middle is the midline, okay? So the midline means no standards, no grace. Can we build a profitable, successful business that solves problems for other people without standards? In fact, the higher standards we set as an organization, the better chance we have of success. And so that line, the more we have standards, that's room for growth, isn't it? When I work with somebody and they say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 10 in everything, I'm like, I can't help you. I get excited when somebody says, man, I'm only a 5 or a 6 in this area, right? Because there's room for growth. So we always, in our business and our professional life, we need to set the standards high. Now, here's a challenge. Does anybody here work with people and they make a mistake every now and then? They do. In fact, I think I made like 3 mistakes on the way getting here. And I live across the street. The deeper our grace for someone, the deeper our grace for our team, guess what happens? The deeper the grace, we're expanding the room for growth. Super high standard, super deep grace. We've got all that growth in the middle. What about our personal lives? If we want to grow, we've got to set the highest standard. Not what we used to believe, but what we're capable of, what we were created to do. Who are you listening to? What are the words that are coming into your head that define who you say you are? You have a choice. You can transform your life one choice at a time. You can create the atmosphere. I believe God has called you to something big. And whatever it is between you and that is the reason you should. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
So Don is my life partner, business partner. We do everything together. I still don't get sick of him. Don, you want to come on up?
You betcha. The 2 most important days in your life, number 1 is the day you're born. Absolutely celebrate. And when you have a birthday, celebrate again. And when you have a birthday, celebrate again. If you want to celebrate half birthdays, that's powerful too. Celebrate you. I write messages on Facebook. My message typically on Facebook is have a grand celebration of you, right? Because the day that you were born, that's a magic day. It's going to carry energy for the rest of your life. And if you're one of those that gets down on yourself because you're turning a certain age, you suck, okay? Don't do that to yourself. It's not okay to beat yourself up over a number because it doesn't matter. Age is purely a number. It's an attitude more than anything. And the way we do it in life is we have a number. But don't worry about the number. Worry about how much life you're getting out of it and how much life you're giving to it, right? But the second most important day, the second day of the 2 most important, is the day you figure out why you're here. So the first part that I want to talk about this morning is this afternoon is this thing called purpose and goals. So I'm really of the mindset that purpose is the foundation for everything. That if we don't know why we're here, then nothing really matters. I mean, the only thing we can say then is I've got a job because I'm supposed to, and I make some money because I need to. And I mean, that's about the most we have if we don't have purpose. Right, so we've got to figure out where our purpose comes from. And here's the questions that I want to give you, because this is where you start to decide. And by the way, if you don't know what your purpose is, if you've never really given it much thought, if you've never found yourself in a place where you've decided what your purpose is, I'm going to suggest to you that your purpose should be right now to find your purpose, right? Like the first thing that has to happen is you got to find your purpose. So what I know is that this is going to be some of the things that will get us to the point of asking the questions we need to ask, which bring us to why are we here? What's important to me? What's at the foundation of all of it? What makes you feel alive? It's always interesting to talk to people about what they did when they passionately approach something. A lot of times it's music or art or something when they're much earlier in life. Maybe it's a sport, maybe it's a thing, a hobby, a passion. And then they get to life at some point in life and somebody says, you know, at some point you got to grow up and get a job. And that's the crusher, right? That's the place where they get crushed, because the spirit is alive through the passion that they had, and yet it gets crushed because they don't pursue their purpose. They pursue making a living. And unfortunately, we find ourselves in 10 or 15 or 20 or 50 years later, still in that boat, have no idea why I'm doing what I'm doing, but I get up and do it every freaking day. It's a crappy place to be. Thanks for saying that. I would have never said crappy in front of this group, but she said it. I just want to make sure you know I don't curse in front of audiences. Damn it. I never, ever. So passion. Passion, big deal. So if you limit your choices only to what seems possible or reasonable, you disconnect yourself from what you truly want, and all you have left is compromise. And that's where a lot of people live. This is where we spend our time, and where it's kind of the death zone, to be honest with you. It's a little bit like Everest. If you don't know that there's what they call the death zone, where the oxygen thins out and there's all these dead bodies that are frozen in ice and will be there forever because nobody can get them down. They can't get them out, and they can't get them down because nobody's got the energy. That death zone, that's what happens right here. We get lost in compromise, and we lose our energy. We're not in it because we want to. We're in it because we need to. And I really want you to get that today. Never settle. Always make amazing happen. Let's create greatness in what we do. You are great. I'm going to make sure that when I leave today, the final thought I give you is one that I hope will lift you and leave you lifted for a long time. Not as like a warm shower, but like something that really makes you think about yourself differently, that through the course of our time together, you begin to see yourself as big as I see the possibilities for you, as big as I see you. And if you don't have enough faith in yourself, if you don't see yourself in that way, that you can borrow my faith in you, knowing that you are a human being with potential beyond anything that you've ever experienced.
Then we have Bob Mortgage. Bob's story is absolutely incredible. He's an amazing marketer. What he's done to launch his businesses, I'm excited for you guys to hear about it.
And Bob, I just admire the heck out of what you're doing, and I love it. And it's fun being here. And thanks for letting us have this space, by the way. Really appreciate that. Everybody, Bob Mortgage.
This right here is the absolute most powerful thing that you have, because you're here for a reason, right? Yeah. Y'all have a reason for being here? Yeah. Okay? We need to uncover and identify what that why is. Why you took some of the most valuable thing that you have to give, your time, and gave it to us today. Okay, we have to uncover that, because that helps me understand how we're going to help you do what I feel is one of the most important things that you could do, which is execute. People talk, we all get in the right mind space, we all have it, right? We all wake up, we want to be better, we want to do better. But then what do? We don't take that step, or we don't take the 3 steps or the 5 steps, as Don and the other guys have pointed out. If you haven't figured out your why, maybe I can help you a little bit. Maybe you've realized that having your face on the grocery cart shopping deal isn't the place to be, or the bus park bench. Okay, maybe that's why you're here. Maybe it's a life event that happened. Okay, that has caused you to kind of go, uh-oh, I need to pivot. Maybe our industry are disruptors. Something's going on in our industry. That could be a life event for you, and it's making you change. Life events happen, and they create what we call setbacks. And sometimes these setbacks are like, they're what Don said, failures. And these failures could be so big that it could take your breath away. It could be so big that other people, not these people in the room here, but other people that understand what we do every day, other people would look at that setback and say, it's just too big to overcome. There's absolutely no way. It is a true failure. It's not a setback, that's a failure. Okay? Then there are those moments that you could have in this life event that bring you to your knees, having you asking for guidance and crying. We've had those life events. Matter of fact, I had that life event, and it wasn't too long ago. That's why I'm here. I had to quickly learn that when you forgive and you're able to move forward and face everything, that you have to learn how to protect what you created, protecting your brand. I realized the market had changed. Okay? I started out trying to get your attention and going and saying, let's have a cup of coffee. I would love to tell you how great my product, services, and rates are. And hopefully, I can earn your business. That's a one-to-one type conversation, which those are nice, but I didn't have time for one-to-one conversations, and the market had changed. I said, I'm going to go to the same type of offensive strategy to build my personal brand. I said, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I want to make sure you take home from this is this thing right here. It's a pretty powerful device. It's connected to something that's a pretty big deal as well, the internet. And it allows all of us to trade attention, right? You can't do anything in business without first having the attention of the other person. So I went out to try to get you guys' attention. Because I also knew, though, it was a long play, and I had a bit of an ego, and I wanted to make sure I didn't walk into a room and somebody didn't know who I was. I wanted to actually let my brand lead before I walked in. Oh, that's Bob Mortgage. Bob Johnson's not very memorable, so we went with Bob Mortgage, right? So that's what I wanted to achieve. Mindset's great. You hear all of it, but what are you going to do when you walk out of this room? Is there one person, as we kind of get further along in some of these things, is there one person from here that'll leave and do something about this? Okay? I had to. My back was against the wall. My back was against the wall, and as an entrepreneur, it's an okay place to be. Once I get comfortable, I'm screwed. Okay? I don't mind being uncomfortable. Okay? I love being uncomfortable because I find ways to get comfortable. Okay? But my back was against the wall, and I knew I didn't have a choice. And so it became easy for me. It was forced. That may not be the position you're in. You may be good with your business. Maybe you're just thinking about taking it to the next level. You need to find it and make sure that why is so big, because if your back's not against the wall, you need to have people that you're accountable to, that you can talk to about this, that you can share it with, that can hold you accountable to what you're going to have to do, because it is difficult to get there. I started to find into 2017, part of 2018, I started to find myself needing to get uncomfortable. Okay? We did really well without really having a whole lot of media and marketing people. It was just me. Then I started to follow people outside of my space, because there really wasn't anybody to follow inside of real estate or mortgage that was really trying to do what I wanted to do. So I had to follow people that really made me feel uncomfortable. People like a Grant Cardone or a Ty Lopez or Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, there are so many more people that are out there doing it, but I had to find people that made me feel uncomfortable, because I knew that I needed another mindset shift. And the one thing I took from all of that was, you can't be half pregnant. Okay? Just understand me. I was a mortgage company, a mortgage guy, trying to bring attention to my brand through media. I had to flip it. I had to be a media guy that was bringing attention to my mortgage company. I had to really understand that I had to go all in on media, because that was the driver for how we had built a very successful practice in a short period of time, that I knew no matter what happened in my industry, whether it's Zillow, it's Amazon, it's who, I don't really care. I don't. I don't mind them coming in, because it keeps me on edge, right? It keeps us sharp, because you know what they have? They have national exposure, yes, but they cannot connect on a local basis. They cannot connect locally with that client like we can, because we can tell stories. We can talk about certain areas. We know it better than those people will, right? They have this national exposure, yeah. But I can get to them and develop relationships with them, because how we do our marketing. So I couldn't be half pregnant. I had to fully commit. But you also need to find your inner confidence in whatever it is that you're going to be doing, because you cannot be crippled by what other people say, their opinions of what they post on your vlog or your whatever if it's your blog, it's your video. Don't worry about whether you look right, you look wrong, how do you sound? Okay, you have to be so committed to your willingness to put content out in front of people to help more people than you are worried about what other people, right, the people that we don't need to be listening to, are saying. Now, there's going to be some people in your life that you're going to really value their opinion. You need to listen to them. But the majority of people, I don't know, whatever, 90% of those people, 95% of those people, you shouldn't really care about. I don't care. I'd say, you know what, oh my God, thanks so much. I say enough stuff that's wrong. I'm like, oh my God, thanks so much. I really appreciate that. You know, guess what? Tomorrow I'm putting out another video, and I'm going to reframe what it is that they were saying, if I was actually wrong, into something that could be turned into something very positive. I really appreciate you listening at the 13:28 mark of my video, right? Really appreciate that comment. And you spin it, and you turn it around and be positive, but don't let it take you down that negative path. You guys have given us so much time. Thank you. I mean, it is absolutely the most important thing that you have to give to me, and I really do appreciate that.